Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Red Dragon Archfiend deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because Red Dragon Archfiend is definitely one of the best dragons in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just such an awesome dragon that is just got so many different variants of it in the synchro mechanic, and I love synchro summoning, so it works out. So without further ado guys, let's get straight on this. Before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and let's get straight on this. But before we do, I really quickly want to remind you guys that we do have a Ko-Fi and a Patreon down in the description, so if you guys would like to become a part of it, definitely check that out. So let's get straight on this. And I really quickly want to show you guys this. I actually picked up, for just this deck profile, a Ghost, an Secret, and an Ultimate of each one of the Dimensions of Chaos Red Dragon Archfiends, just for you guys to see. So let's get straight on this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Red Resignator. Now this deck did just get support announced in the form of Eternity Code, I believe it is, that it's going to get new support. Don't hold me to it, I think it's Eternity Code, which is the next booster set for the TCG, which is going to make this deck change a little bit, but for now, this is how we're going to play the deck. So when this card is normal summoned, you get to special summon one level 4 lower monster from your hand, and then when this card is special summoned, you can target one face-up monster on the field and then gain life points equal to that monster's attack. Usually you're going to use this to summon Red Riser Dragon in order to start the whole combo where you go into all of your other monsters, so Red Resignator is definitely your combo starter. We play 3 copies of Synchron Resignator, spelled with a K. And if this card is if a synchro monster is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then you can only use special summon Synchron Resignator once per turn, this way. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one Resonator monster in your graveyard except another copy of itself and add it to your hand. So this card is a really good card to help you go into Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, which is usually what you want to put on the field a lot. Now, really quickly, I'll mention to you guys, I am focusing more on the Master Rule 5 aspect right now on my channel. So this deck is going to focus on Master Rule 5. So then we play 1 copy of Chain Resignator as well. Chain Resignator is when this card is normal summoned while you control while a synchro monster is on the field. You can special summon a Resignator monster from your deck, which is a really good card. I might bump this up to more than 1 later on, because if you have this and the new level 3 Resignator monster, it makes it really easy to go into your level 12 Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. And also, I'm going to change this deck up a little bit when we finally get the Supernova, which is going to take probably a little while. That takes 3 tuner monsters. That's probably going to be a little bit before we get that one. Maybe we'll get it as an import in Eternity Code, but I don't know. Konami usually doesn't do that. Then we play a Creation Resignator as well. If you control a face-up level 8 or higher synchro monster, which you normally will, you can instantly special summon this card from your hand, which really helps out to be able to go into synchro plays. That's what I was talking about with Chain Resignator. You can just normal summon Chain Resignator, and then special summon the Creation Resignator and go into your King Calamity really, really easily in this deck. Then we play 3 copies of Wandering King Wildwind. Wandering King Wildwind is a super good card in this deck that if you control a Fiend-type tuner monster with 1500 or less attack, you can instantly special summon this card from your hand. And even if you attempt this, you can only special summon synchro monsters from the extra deck, which is another reason why I'm focusing more on the aspect of Master Rule 5, is because this deck is going to be crazy when you just have to synchro summon in this deck and just have synchro monsters in the extra deck. But during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it from your graveyard to add a Fiend-type tuner monster of 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand, which is literally any of your Resignator monsters, which is really, really good to be able to do. And then we play, for the other cards, we're playing 3 copies of Primitive Butterfly. Primitive Butterfly is in here because you can change its level to 6, and then if you control no monsters, you can instantly special summon this card from your hand, which is really, really good to be able to have a monster that can instantly be special summoned like Cyber Dragon that's a level 6. We play 3 copies of Red Warg. Red Warg is really good because you can normal summon this card with when a Resignator monster is normal summoned, you can special summon this card from your hand, but its attack becomes halved, which is not that big of a deal because it already only has 1400 attack. Basically, this is just here because you can normal summon Red Resignator, special summon something like Wandering King Wildwind, and then instantly special summon out Red Warg behind it, and then go for Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, or Red Dragon Archfiend, the Scarlight. Immediately go into Scarlight really easily with Red Warg. 3 copies of Red Sprinter. I actually bumped this back into the deck. I didn't play it in the last deck profile, but I realized it's a really good card that when you normal summon this card while you control no other monsters, you can instantly special summon a level 3 or lower fiend monster from your hand or graveyard, and you can only use its effect once per turn. So it's really good to go into Red Riser Dragon and then go climb into your other monsters. So I definitely recommend playing Red Sprinter. And then I play a small sub-engine in this deck as well, which is going to be a really interesting engine. I might take this out when the new support comes in, but I don't know. I might still play it. I'm going to have to play test with the new stuff. But you play a single copy of Exploder Rocket Dragon. It's a level 7 monster, but you can use Quick Launch to instantly put this on the field. Keep in mind that this is basically revolving around Quick Launch being in your hand, so you have these so you can special summon them instantly. 2 copies of Magna Rocket Dragon, because you can instantly, again, special summon it out of your deck. And it's also a good level 4 monster to use with your Red Resignator to go into your other monsters. 1 copy of Metal Rocket Dragon as well. The Metal Rocket Dragon really helps out because you want to play 3 of these so you can have a little bit of a variety to be able to special summon. And then for the last 2 monsters in the main deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Rocket Synchron. I definitely will play Rocket Synchron in the deck after the new support comes out, because when it's normal summon, you get to target a level 5 or higher Dark Dragon monster in your graveyard and instantly special summon it. So the combo with the Rocket Synchron is you normal summon this, and then after this has been used as a synchro material, you just instantly use these 2, which 8 plus 1 is 9, which goes into Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss to be able to negate a card on the field. So Rocket Synchron is definitely a good 2 of in the deck, and I probably will continue to play this even after the new support comes out. So that's it for the monsters, guys. I know it's a lot of monsters, but it is a synchro-based deck, and so you want to play a lot of monsters. That's the big thing about synchro decks. So for these spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Monster Reborn. It's essentially the extender of the deck. You need the copy of Monster Reborn to be able to search, or not search, but to get back your Red Dragon Archfiends to use as synchro material. Foolish Burial is here because you can use it with a lot of different cards in this deck to be able to get combos off. You can use it with something like Synchron Resignator or Wandering King Wildwind to be able to, search or special summon itself. And then we play 3 copies of Resignator Call, which lets us add any Resignator monster from our deck to our hand, which is extremely important in this deck to be able to add like Red Resignator. This is like playing 6 copies of Red Resignator, which is extremely important. 3 copies of Return of the Dragon Lords, because we do play the Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. This card is revivable with our Return of the Dragon Lords, and then Return of the Dragon Lords protects it from being destroyed by battle or by card effect, which is really good. 3 copies of Quick Launch. Quick Launch is really important in this deck and really pivotal, because basically what you're doing with this is you're using it to special summon any of these 4 monsters to your side of the field, which just instantly gets you a level 4 or a level 7 monster onto your side of the field. Because Quick Launch does not specify level, you can just instantly special summon like Exploder Rocket Dragon, and then use a Synchron Resignator on your side of the field to instantly synchro summon for a Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. And it's really good to have a level 7 monster in the deck for that versatility, to be able to go into those plays. You can also summon Rocket Synchron. I wouldn't recommend summoning Rocket Synchron off of this, but if you're trying to get into Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, you can special summon it off of this if you already have a field established. Like if you open up and you have like a Quick Launch and a Return of the Dragon Lords, you can activate the Quick Launch, and like you have this on the field, you can actually do a combo where you can get both this and the Archfiend Abyss on the field, which is really cool because you can actually activate the Quick Launch, put Rocket Synchron on the field, synchro it out for this to summon Archfiend Abyss, and then use Return of the Dragon Lords to revive this, and then they're both protected, which is a quick little combo for you guys that you can do in this deck. For the last 3 spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Call by the Grave. You need the Call by the Graves because you just don't want to deal with hand traps in this deck. So Call by the Grave is really, really good in here to stop hand traps. So that's it for all the spells and the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. I know it is a lot of monsters in this deck. So you're going to be seeing a lot of white cards in this extra deck. So we're playing 3 copies of, I actually bumped it up to 3 Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiends because you can use it for so many different plays. I bumped it up to 3, and I have bought all 3 editions for you guys to see for this deck profile. We blinged it out in the extra deck. So basically this effect is this card becomes Red Dragon Archfiend while in the field or in the graveyard, and then once per turn, you can destroy as many special summon effect monsters on the field as possible with attack less than or equal to this card's other than this card, and then inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed by this effect, and it doesn't stop it from attacking either. So you can just instantly destroy cards on your opponent's side of the field and then attack them for 3,000 as well. That's a lot of damage. Then we play one copy of Red Nova Dragon. Red Nova Dragon is really good in here too. You might change it out later, but I really wanted to play all of the Red Dragon Archfiend. So you do play the Red Dragon, or Red Nova Dragon. It gains 500 attack for each tuner monster in your graveyard, and it can be destroyed by card effects by your opponent's spells, traps, or monsters. And then when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can select it, remove it from play, and negate the attack. And during the end phase, special summon this card that would special summon this card that was removed from play by this effect, but you don't special summon your opponent's, which is really, really cool. Or you just negate the attack. One copy of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. Really busted card that when it's synchro summoned, you can activate the effect. For the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects, and also your opponent cannot control. Or cards your opponent controls cannot activate their effects either, so just skill drains the whole field and puts your opponent's whole side of the field in a limbo, and they can't do anything. And your opponent cannot activate cards and effects in response to this, so it's a speed spell 4, so they can't activate anything. And if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. And if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, either by battle or by card effect, you can target a level 8 or lower Dragon-type monster, and that's a synchro monster in your graveyard, and instantly special summon it. Really cool effect. Tyrant is probably my favorite of them all. It does take 2 tuner monsters, but during your main phase 1, you can destroy all all cards on the field. And for the rest of the turn, only monsters you control cannot attack, which sucks, but it does destroy everything. And then during either player's battle phase, when a spell or trap is activated, negate the activation if you do destroy it. And then if you do, this card gains an additional 500 attack, going to 4,000. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. I don't make this that much, but it's good for versatility because it's a level 10 monster that just takes a tuner and a Dark Dragon to summon it. But you can tribute a monster to target a Red Dragon Archfiend in your graveyard and special summon it, so it does replace itself, which is really good. And then when this card inflicts damage to your opponent, you can special summon 2 tuners from the same type, or same level, one from your deck and one from your graveyard in defense. And then you can only use this effect once per turn. Then we play 2 copies of Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. Abyss is really good because it's a walking negation, and it also has the ability that when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target a tuner in your graveyard and special summon it defense. So it helps you synchro climb as well. So I highly recommend that you guys play the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. 2 copies of Red Riser Dragon. I thought about bumping this up to 3, but I really think that 2 is the optimal number for this card. I don't think you need any more than 2. Its effect is that it takes a fiend and a non-fiend monster, or a fiend tuner and a non-tuner monster. And then when it's synchro summoned, you get to target a resonator in your graveyard and instantly special summon it back. But you can only special summon monsters that are dark from your extra deck. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect, except Dark Dragon Synchros. So that's why this deck is going to be really good in Master Rule 5. And then it also has the ability that during your main phase, except the turn this card was in the graveyard, you can banish it and then target 2 level 1 tuner resonator monsters in your grave and special summon both of them, which is really good. 1 copy of Beelze because it's a Dark Dragon monster and it's kind of like a off-the-wall kind of thing, that if your opponent's destroying all your monsters, you can just summon this and stop it. 1 copy of Boral Sword because Boral Sword helps OTK. Psyframe Lord Lambda. Lambda is really good because it's got Link Heroes. I probably will drop this later when we get Master Rule 5. I'm just playing this because we aren't technically there yet, and I want to play the deck now. And then Beat Cop. Beat Cop is another card that you can play, but you really don't need anything else besides, like, this. Like, you don't need these 2. You can play the deck like this, but these are here just so you can play the deck right now. But the whole main deck is pretty much focused around summoning, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. Or not Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, but Scarlight. So that's it for the deck. I hope you really enjoyed this one. It's a super fun deck that I highly recommend that you guys try. It's a really, really good deck that's getting new support soon. And if you guys are going to pick up the deck, pick it up soon because it is going to get pretty expensive probably in the coming future. I'm glad I picked up my Ghost Rare version of Scarlight. So anyways, guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell next so you can become part of the notification squad. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.